Can we settle down? Can we settle down, please? Councillors, we need to start. Councillor Brenda. No. Councillor Brenda. Is that Councillor Van Wyck's light that's on? Is it Councillor Van Wyck's mic that's on? Whose mic is on? The councillor at the back. Woo.
Speaker, we're being disrespected by the ANC. Speaker.
Councillors, can we please settle down? The councillors on my right, can we please settle down? You've had more than 2 hours now. It cannot be, councillors, it cannot be. Can we settle down, councillors? Councillor Nkumbi. Councillor Nkumbi. One wrong doesn't make two wrongs doesn't make a right. Can we settle down, especially the councillors this side? We're starting. Can we start where we left off? Someone asked for a caucus. Councillor Nkonko, you asked for a caucus and you had an overtime caucus. Can we hear?
Yeah. Madam Speaker, we've managed to caucus. Now there are to lepilega tiralisasi.
Siyabonga. We on the items that the Acting Secretary read out. For Action SA, Councillor L. Maduka Nene. Councillor Lebatlang.
Yes, Speaker, thank you very much. I think before you granted the caucus break, we made a request so that we can check whether we are forming quorum. And we also have seen that there's new councillors
No, councillor.
that have joined
Oh,
us.
yes, we agreed on the quorum.
So
I'm not going to allow the new councillors. I
So,
thank you for
yeah.
refreshing my memory on the quorum. Let's start then with the quorum. Thank you, councillor.
Thank you.
Okay. Can we have the quorum checked, please? And then we'll go to the speakers list. I remember. Councillor,
Okay. So that they can come in. Can you just ring the bell for 2 minutes? Hey, Kimang. Hey, Kimang. Kimang, hey. Kimang, hey. Alone. Kimang, hey.
Libatlang, uimpimpi wena.
IT, while they are counting, can we have the bell rung? Councillors, can we be seated? You asked us to have roll call, but the very people that asked for roll call is walking up and down. Can we be seated? No, I'm honest. The councillor that's walking there has been walking up and down, and if they don't counter, then we're in trouble. There's another one coming in. Akir, if we don't tally and we voted, then you are going to say we must recount. So can we be seated? Aye, po. Hi. Thank you, councillors. We are 177 councillors in the chamber. Thank you. Can we now continue? We call on Councillor from Action SA, Nkonyeni. Ukon?
Ngibonge Speaker. Ngibingelele amalunga alomkhandlo. Ivakashi zethu nalaba abasibuke kwezokuxhumana. All protocol observed. Ngibingelele kakhulu futhi ne caucus leader yethu uNobuhle Mthembu. Caucus leader sorry wena Speaker. The city is spending more on operational costs than it is making, which means that we will be perpetually reliant on grants, tariff increases, loans, and loans. Surely there must be a better way to collect revenue than to take from the pockets of the residents who already have very little. These charges will affect everybody across all strata, and we find ourselves in this position due to poor maintenance of water systems and an overloading grid that cannot cater for residents. Water and electricity make up 51.5% of the city's revenue collection, yet these are the two areas that are the most dismally performing given the various syndromic challenges around leakages, load shedding, illegal connections, and incorrect billing. This is not the only problem. Leases on outdoor advertising have been signed with advertising agencies have not been signed with advertising agencies. Thus, the anticipated revenue of 4 million cannot be collected until these leases are signed. We need to strengthen our debt collection processes and do away with the recurring tendency of not having contracts in place. Speaking of contracts, 250 million was paid in advance by service providers for outdoor advertising. However, the amount cannot be considered as revenue due to the absence of contracts which are yet to be finalized by this so-called world-class city. Surely we have an administrative problem here, and not only that, but what is more concerning is this heavy reliance on tariff increases and levies such as the increased fuel levy, which will result in an increase in taxi and bus fares against the backdrop of poor economic growth and dire socio-economic outcomes. Madam Speaker, here is the problem with our funding model. It comprises of loans which make up 33.7%, grants from National Treasury that make up 43.4%. That means 77.1% of our revenue is from handouts and borrowing. It cannot be, Madam Speaker. This heavy reliance on bailouts from National Treasury and debt accumulation points us in the direction of a dysfunctional municipality that is begging to be put under administration. How do we, in good conscience, ratify this? How do we justify this budget, which is effectively a band-aid over a festering, self-inflicted wound caused by those in the dysfunctional coalition of the local disunity? While we do acknowledge the need for the fair distribution of the proposed budget, which goes towards service delivery, the most noticeable is the decrease in budget allocation for the following departments: Joburg Market, which is critical to economic sustainability; JDA, which is critical to economic and spatial development; JRA, which needs to close potholes and maintain our roads. The department also has a direct impact on the economy. At Action SA, on Spizani. And please tell MMC Kunene ukuthi le budget is on Pizis. Asibonke.
Thank you, Councillor. Freedom Front Plus, Councillor Boer.
Goeienaand, Madam Speaker, all councillors. I'm raising on item 3A the medium-term operating budget, and item 3B, the medium-term capital budget. As I said in my speech on the debate of the budget, this budget is standing on 5 pillars. If one of those pillars is not going to stand, the budget is going to fall apart. Currently, the budget is a funded budget, I must agree, but it is based on a collection rate of 86%, which was 2% less than last year's 88%. If we don't reach 86%, the budget is not funded. The budget is funded if we don't have load shedding for the rest of the year, or at least not go higher than a phase 2 load shedding. The budget will be funded if you've got an effective administration, resolving billing queries, resolving service delivery issues, and by doing not only estimated meter readings, but also working on actual meter readings, because we have to get the basics right in this city. And unless we get the basics right of supplying reliable water, reliable electricity, fixing the potholes, and make an environment in the city friendly for investors, we are not going to attract any investments. So we need to get a basic right. And if you look at the details of this budget, on the expenses side, an MMC said to us, we have lacked on repairs and maintenance. It is below the target of 8%. Even in this new budget, the target of repairs and maintenance is only 7.1% of PPE. It is too low. We are having a crisis on electricity and water. One would really expect that we would allocate budget to fix this 25 billion rand shortfall on water infrastructure. In fact, our repairs and maintenance budget for water is even down on the adjusted budget for 23-2024. Our repairs and maintenance budget for the electricity infrastructure is also down from the 1.5 billion 2023-2024 to 1.3 billion in 2024-2025. How are we ever going to fix this problem if we're getting further and further behind? But on the other hand, the MMC deemed it fit to give group corporate and shared services an increased operational expenditure of 81% to 936 million. And I'm quoting here from the budget. Part of this allocation is to address issues relating to the political facilitated agreement. Last year, we allocated 462 million. This year, we are a caring government, and we are allocating 701 million. Madam Speaker, this is a slam in the face of our residents, where much needed capital is given to this department instead of helping our residents with their basic needs. On the expenses side as well, our debt impairment increased by a further 20.3% and is standing on this budget at 8.679 billion. To my fellow councillors, the total salary budget for the council is standing at 19.9 billion. 8.6 billion of debt impairment, of write-offs, is nearly 45% of the total salary bill. This is not sustainable. I'm moving over to the capital budget. Our capital budget decreased from last year's to this year's budget. While we are in dire straits with water infrastructure, dire straits with capital spending on electricity, we deemed it fit to even decrease our capex budget. The capex budget for city power is down from 1.3 billion to 1.2 billion. Joburg water is a little bit up from 1 billion to 1.2 billion. It seems as if you got business as normal. We are spending money on building reservoirs and everything, but we can't even supply the water because we are sitting with 46% of non-revenue water. This budget, Madam Speaker, is not sustainable. We are getting deeper and deeper in the backlog, and how can we attract investors if we are losing all the way? The MMC said to us, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And I'm pleading to the MMC, let us go far and let us go together, because on this fast track of yours, you will have to go alone. The Freedom Front is not supporting this budget. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor. Can we have MMC Leach from the PA?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Greetings to you, Madam Speaker, our Executive Mayor and Executive, the members of this House, our officials and guests. I rise in response to the budget, in particular the plans and funding set aside for human settlements. I'd like to make it clear from the outset that I was not consulted in a manner that I'm comfortable with by finance, and neither was the PMC. And this is not a budget that we as the PA are in agreement of. We have seen all the depressing financial records over the years of the hundreds of millions spent on fixing hostels, but they remain broken and hazardous to life. We need to put an end to simply using these projects as an excuse to loot the budget. Is this the plan again now for the surprisingly large amount once again being allocated to hostels? And perhaps we should not be surprised that the IFP is so happy here today and singing the MMC's praises. They should tell us if they are the new silent partner of the GLU, and they should explain to their multi-party charter friends when they vote with the ANC. Since the niceties are now put aside, I'd like to highlight how difficult it has been to be an MMC in a coalition government.
MMC, can you just... Councillors, can we not do that? Can we please not do that? I thought we had agreed when someone is on the podium, we will listen. Can we please not do that? On both sides. Councillor Mabaso, was your hand up? But remember we said it's a speech, no? If there's a point of order, I'm just cautioning. Oh, it's a report, sorry. Okay, thank you, Councillor Mabaso. Apologies. You
Can I
carry on?
continue?
No, you can sit, MMC, I just want to... Yes, Councillor Mabaso?
Thank you very much, Speaker. I'm actually rising on a point of order to say, if the Patriotic Alliance is bitter that the ANC did not engage with them, they must leave IFP and the hostel out of it. So, because we will not, Speaker, accept that when leaders are politically bankrupt and promote the segregation in our communities, they are going to use the name of the IFP and that of the people of hostels. And we are not going to accept that.
Thank you, Councillor. You noted. Councillors, can we please, all of us, can we please, Councillor Leach, can you take your position again, please?
Thank you, Speaker. Since the niceties are now put aside, I'd like to highlight how difficult it has been to be an MMC in a coalition government with the finance MMC who has been actively opposing us at every turn. With very little can happen in the administration of a metro without money. So it is that Joshko's funding has continued to decrease and payments to it have continued to go to a trickle. We have had to endure being told that money owed to Joshko for work it had done for other departments, which had never been a problem before, would now have to be classified as irregular expenditure. The enormous debt owed to Joshko still continues to fester. We have had to beg for anything to be done to repair and upgrade the council flats and the old age homes, and even now I do not know if this government will deliver on the change and restoration that is so desperately needed. We are facing a situation where only 4% of people living in city-owned stock are now paying their rentals, and who can blame them? There is indeed no discernible plan to turn this around, and there is certainly no budget set aside for it. Let me not even go into the agony that my fellow MMC has had to endure as the transport MMC, but suffice it to say that the disrespect and brazen defiance of the principle of working together as a coalition government has become all but impossible to bear. Perhaps once the dust has settled on the elections of 29 Mackenzie, This GLU will discover to its horror that the PA will still be needed to form a government in the city. For the ANC's sake, I hope that you don't need us, because we will not forget the treatment at your hands. Ons baie zane.
Thank you, MMC. Councillor Netemba. Councillors, please. Councillor Netemba from the EFF. IT.
Thank you, Speaker. Greetings to the caucus leader of the EFF, Spetlele Rasiruti, Chief Whip of the EFF, Thabisa Mkhapi, not forgetting the two capable MMC of the EFF, Enima Kafula, and Fighter Dr. Mgini Tswaku, and the 29 battalions of the EFF, and all councillors in the House. Today I raise before you to champion that call for change and to urge the citizen of Johannesburg to embrace the power of their vote. Speaker, on the 29th of May, as we all go to the polls, the EFF advise not only the citizen but the entire House to vote for the only party concerned with their lives of our people in this country. We are appealing to even those that are hiding behind their political parties for bread and butter issue to vote for change. We live in the city where change is necessary. Our city faces many challenges from the economy, injustice, load shedding, crime, and more. Yet within these challenges lies the opportunity for change, for progress, for a better tomorrow. Yet that we will never happen if we don't vote wisely. Voting for EFF means demanding accountability from our leaders, holding them to the highest standard of integrity and transparency. Voting for EFF means free education for the young people of this country. It means to stop to corrupt tendering system that only favors the few while our people are still living in poverty. It means the restoring of a dignity to the masses of South Africa. Voting for EFF is an end to cadre deployment and new dawn for the educated and trusted fresh minds that will take the country forward. It means an end to broke municipality due to the corruption. Councillors, let's all vote for hope. Forget party line. EFF is the only hope for this country. Voting for EFF means lights on. Everyone in this chamber, on TV and social media, on the 29th of this month, please vote for EFF. Let's fight. 2024, it's our 1994. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor T. Khatebe.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Greetings to the Executive Mayor and the Mayoral Committee. As the African National Congress, we welcome and support the draft budget for financial year 2024-2025. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Moreira, MMC Moreira.
Thank you, Speaker. 8 minutes, okay. Perhaps, Speaker, let me begin by noting the issues as raised by Councillor Boer, which refers, amongst others, the tariff structures and our commitment to ensure that we help to caution customers in Johannesburg. So your concerns are noted. And you should know that all of us are in the process of trying to stabilize the financial positions of the city of Johannesburg, which in fact history will tell you that was as a result of what had happened in 2016. And it's unfortunate that that problem will still be with us for some few years to come. And the change of government that also happened has also proven that we're not able also to deal with this matter immediately in that period of time. And this GLU has a 1 year and few months with an intention to try and resolve this thing. Now, by the way, Madam Speaker, resources of government comes from different financial streams or revenue streams. Our own money, which is from our own revenue streams, constitute just under 16%. And I'll try and break it down so that we understand where this money comes from. Because it doesn't come or fall from the sky, that you can therefore just allocate. And I'm clarifying these things, Madam Speaker, because at times we are under the impression that we all know where the money of government comes from. And at times we pretend as if this money just comes, it's there. And no one understands that there are people who are supposed to be paying rates and taxes, and they're also overstretched, which are supposed to be your constituencies that we represent. In earnest, at about 2016, 2015, we were sitting at the revenue position, at least from electricity, which was giving us about 34% of the revenue stream. Now it's sitting at 28% of the revenue stream, which means there's a decline from what used to finance the city of Johannesburg. Water management is sitting at about 13%, when it used to give us between 16 and 18%. Now, I'm throwing this thing so that we understand that the turnaround will not going to happen in 16 months. Let me also come to the issues as raised by the Patriotic Alliance, which comments I find them unfortunate. Madam Speaker, Councillor Morero is a deployee of the ANC, and he works on behalf of finance, and he does not develop budgets from departments. He allocates what departments has told him what they want in their budgets. So it's a very important process that we must understand, that in fact finance sits as an allocator based on what we have requested as departments. And it therefore tells you that we only have 10 rands, and all of you must find a way to survive within this budget that we already have. So it's quite unfortunate that you want to reduce matters of council to an individual. I wonder how powerful then that individual is. And that individual is not God, he's human. So it really frustrates to say that we reduce council processes to an individual. An individual who went into the mayoral committee and presented a budget to the mayoral committee, which adopted and endorsed the budget. Now, it's important, Madam Speaker, that sometimes we call a spade a spade. If you don't want to vote for the budget, you don't vote for the budget. You don't create a scapegoat of an individual. We chose as the ANC not to bring any politics into this budget. We took a decision that we want to grow and help the city to stabilize to an extent at which we made certain decisions. Even finance department as group finance had to reduce on every other thing that they had to do to accommodate other departments, because we avoided this thing that it then be reduced to an individual. whether Councillor Morero is there or not, any other finance MMC will come to the similar conclusions on the money that we have allocated. It's no joke that we don't have 4.5 billion every month. We don't have. We have at least between 3.8 and 3.9 billion a month, which therefore means we're at 67% collection. And we must acknowledge that as these councillors. And if we want to continue and pay politics, especially to an individual, and by the way, Councillor Leach, I've not opposed MMC. No, it's councillor, councillors.
Yes, yeah, you're correct.
We are councillors here.
Can we please refrain?
I have no business to oppose the Patriotic Alliance in council work. But outside of council on political issues, yes, I have business to oppose because we are contesting the same space, but not in council. And sometimes we should allow debates to happen and remove personalities in the debates. So I thought it's important, Madam Speaker, that I put some of these issues into context. And by the way, the chunk of this budget goes to human settlements, which is not overseen by Councillor Morero or the ANC. The chunk of this budget goes to transport, which is not overseen by the ANC. We are procuring buses in this budget for Metrobus. Now, Chief Whip of Council, it is disturbing really that council of 270 councillors would sit and point out at one person, worse, short, and think that he's attacking another party. I'm not. All we had to do was to allocate what was there. I'm avoiding to be personal, councillors. Let me conclude, Madam Speaker. And in my conclusion, I would make it quite clear. If we are not able to pass the budget, we will then go back to what the MFA says. And the FMMA is clear. We're unable to pass it. You have 7 days, as long as it's before the 30th of June. You attempt once more. You are unable to pass it by the 30th of June. You are then put under administration. Now, if there's a narrative that we want to put this city under administration, let the narrative be made aware and don't go around as if you are arguing something outside of that. Say it straight that we want to push you to an administration and hence we will not support this. You can't be part of a government and you object its own budget and you are part of that government. What do you call that?
Stupid!
What do you call it, Madam Speaker?
Stupid!
You are part of the government and you come here and you say you will not vote for that budget. Something is wrong. Unless the agenda is to put us under administration, say it.
58 seconds left.
Madam Speaker, I hereby stand to ask Council to approve the budget 2024-2025. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Alala Chairperson.
Hey, Chairman.
Thank you, MMC Morero. Councillors? 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 Councillors, Councillor Libatlang has just sent a message and said there's a councillor, we don't know who the councillor is, that has lost his or her keys. So if you find the keys, please give it to Councillor Libatlang. Thank you. The recommendations for item 3A are on page 31 to 32. The recommendations of item 3B is on page 38.20. The recommendations for item 3C are on page 13 to 14. The recommendations for item 3D is on page 9. We read the items together. Are we listening, Councillor van Wyk? We read them all out together, and I've read out on which pages they are. Are the items agreed to? I thank you. I thank you all.
Asoze speaker, asoze.
I thank you all. Can I see the yeses? Who's speaking into the mic? Can I see the yeses? Can I have others sitting down while others are raising their hands? Can we have that? Aye, councillors. Why are we always insulting? You can drop your hands, councillors. Can I have the noes? And them to sign. You can lower your hands. Anybody that abstains? Thank you. Anybody that abstains? The results are here. We have 52 noes, 105 yeses, 20 people have not voted. They didn't abstain, they didn't say yes, they didn't say no. 20. The item is not carried. We shall come back in 7 days. The item is not carried. We shall come back in 7 days.
Councillors, we are now on item 4.
Just hold on. Councillors of Action SA, we have not adjourned as yet. We have not adjourned.
Councillors, item 4 is a year plan or schedule of meetings of the City of Johannesburg Council and committees for July 2024 to June 2025.
We only have one speaker, Councillor Mogape from the EFF.
We noted, Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Rapadu.
Thank you, Speaker. I want to put it on record that this day will go down in history. And we will remember this day. We will remember this day. That I can guarantee you. But Speaker, be as it may, it is what it is. As we move for the adoption.
Councillor, just hold on.
We'll remember.
Councillors, we have agreed that if someone is on the podium, we will not do what we are doing. Councillor Rapadu, you can come back.
Wait. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Please, we ask for council to approve this, this item. Thank you very much.
The recommendations are on page 4.2. Is the item agreed to? The item is carried. Thank you very much, councillors, for all your contributions, irrespective of how it was. We have come to the end of the meeting. I want to say good luck to all political parties that will be taking part in the general elections. This meeting is adjourned. You'll get your notice for the next one.
We're teaching ANC politics.